Tegan Werner's 23 and running on caffeine, cheap sneakers, and denial. Her grocery store apron still smells like produce when her past barrels back in the shape of Simon Lamar, rich, older, and very married. The man who told her that night was just between them. The man she now knows drugged her. He shows up all charm and paperwork, sliding a folder across the table like he's offering a business deal instead of hush money, non-disclosure agreement. Compensation, a clean exit. Tegan's hands shake as she signs nothing. She just wants to leave, but she's 8 months pregnant, out of options, and the world doesn't give breaks to girls like her. That night, she packs her battered Honda Civic with clothes, prenatal vitamins, and a sense of urgency. Her plan's simple. Drive through the storm to her brother's place, have the baby somewhere safe, start over. The weather report screams don't, but she's had enough of people telling her what to do. Snow turns the highway into static. Headlights blur visibility's a rumor. The wipers groan with each sweep, and every mile feels longer than the last. She turns up the radio just to drown out the voice in her head that keeps whispering Simon. The storm thickens. The world outside is pure white, the kind that swallows everything. Her phone signal dies. The gaslight flickers. She grips the wheel tighter, muttering small prayers between contractions she swears are just stress. A shape darts across the road, or maybe it's the snow playing tricks. Either way, she swerves. The car fishtails, hits black ice, and the next second is a violent blur of metal, air, and the kind of silence that follows impact. When Tegan comes to, the windshield's cracked like spiderwebs. Cold wind slices through the open window. Her ankle screams when she moves. She tries the ignition, nothing. Just the steady hiss of snow filling the car. Panic tries to take over, but stubbornness wins. She checks her belly. The baby kicks, still alive. "We're okay," she whispers, not believing it. Minutes crawl into hours. The heater's dead, her phone's useless, and her breath fogs thicker every time she exhales. She bangs on the horn once, twice, no echo, no sound but wind. The world feels empty. Then, faintly, a light in the distance. Headlamps? A house? Hope? She screams until her throat burns, waving a broken piece of plastic like a flare. A man appears through the snow. Heavy coat, flashlight beam, cutting through white. He calls her name, or maybe he just calls hey, and she barely processes anything before he's pulling her out of the wreck. His name's Hank, voice steady, hands warm despite the storm. He carries her through the snow toward a dark shape ahead. A cabin glowing orange at the windows. Relief hits hard. A roof, heat, safety. At least, that's what she thinks. When Tegan wakes, it's to the smell of broth and antiseptic, and the kind of silence that feels rehearsed. A fire crackles nearby. A blanket covers her up to the chin. For a split second, she thinks she's in a hospital. Then she notices the wood paneling, the deer heads on the walls, and the snow still battering the windows. Definitely not a hospital. A woman appears with a smile so wide it borders on performance. "I'm Polly," she says. "You're safe now." Hank, the man who pulled Tegan from the wreck, stands behind her, solid and quiet, like he's there to confirm the story. Polly explains that the roads are blocked, the phones are down, and no one can get through until morning. She says it like she's giving weather updates, not trapping someone in a storm. Tegan thanks them, tries to sit up, and instantly regrets it, her ankles swollen, purple, and definitely broken. Polly insists she stay in bed, promising she's a former nurse and knows what she's doing. The word former sticks in Tegan's brain like a splinter. The food's good. Too good. Homemade stew, fresh rolls, warm tea, the kind that makes you want to believe in kindness again. But something about Polly's constant smile and Hank's silence make the room colder than the wind outside. When Tegan asks to use the phone, Polly laughs softly. "Oh, honey, the lines are down. Just rest. We'll call when it's fixed." Translation, you're not calling anyone tonight. By evening, Polly helps her hobble downstairs, not to a guest room, but to what looks like a half-finished basement clinic. There's a cot, a tray of instruments, and a small metal cabinet full of unlabeled pills, Tegan tries not to panic. Maybe Polly really was a nurse. Maybe this is all normal. Polly tucks her in and dims the light. Sleep, she says. You and the baby need it. The word baby hangs in the air too long. Hours later, Tegan wakes to whispers upstairs. Two voices, low, tense. She hears her name, then Hank's voice. We can't keep her here forever. Polly hisses something back that Tegan can't make out. The next moment, the floor creaks as footsteps move toward the stairs. Tegan shuts her eyes and pretends to sleep. The door opens, a shadow lingers, then a hand, light, careful, brushes her forehead. Poor thing, Polly whispers. You'll thank me later. Tegan's pulse stumbles. Every instinct screams run, but her leg throbs with each breath, and the snow outside roars like a wall. She's trapped in a stranger's home that's far too quiet, with a woman who smiles too much and a man who doesn't smile at all. And somewhere upstairs, the phone that doesn't work, just rang once morning arrives, but time doesn't feel real anymore. The storm still howls outside, turning the world into static. Down in the basement, Tegan counts hours by the sound of Polly's footsteps overhead. Slow, deliberate, like she's pacing out control. When Polly finally comes down with breakfast, her cheerfulness could rot teeth. Pancakes today, for strength. Tegan smiles weakly, pretending to eat. The food's lukewarm, the syrup tastes off, and Polly's watching every bite. Something's wrong. Tegan can feel it in the way Polly touches her belly. Lingering too long, smiling too hard. It's the smile of someone who's already decided the baby belongs to her Hank. Meanwhile, is the opposite, withdrawn, uneasy, never meeting Tegan's eyes. When Polly leaves the room, he hovers by the door like he wants to speak but can't. Once he mutters, "You should rest." It sounds less like advice and more like regret. Tegan tries to keep her mind sharp. She tests her ankle, still swollen but not hopeless, and starts noting every sound in the cabin. When the locks click, when the generator hums, when Polly's tone sharpens. If she's getting out, she needs information. That afternoon, Polly insists on changing Tegan's bandages. Her grip is firm, almost punishing. You're healing nicely, she says, though Tegan's ankle looks worse than yesterday. The smell of infection mixes with antiseptic. Tegan grits her teeth. I should really go to a hospital. Polly's voice goes syrupy sweet. Hospitals are full of germs. You and the baby are safer here. Safer, right. Later, a small face appears at the basement door. A girl, maybe 7, with tangled hair and wide eyes. Hi, the girl whispers. I'm Sadie. Before Tegan can answer, Polly's voice booms from upstairs. Sadie, what did I tell you about bothering our guest? The door slams shut. Guest, sure. And prisons are just hotels with better locks. That night, the cold gets inside her bones. She tries to sleep, but keeps hearing faint humming. Polly's voice upstairs, singing a lullaby that feels more like a threat. She curls up on the cot, whispering to her belly, Hang in there, kid. We're not letting them win. The next morning, Tegan wakes to find her phone missing from her bag, her last connection to the outside world. Gone, Polly breezes in with fresh sheets. I tidied up for you, she says, as if she didn't just steal her lifeline. Tegan snaps. Where's my phone? Polly tilts her head. Phones distract from healing. Her tone never changes, but the air shifts. Polly's mask slips, just for a heartbeat, and what's underneath isn't kindness, it's ownership. For the first time, Tegan sees it clearly. She's not a patient. She's a possession. And if she doesn't move fast, she and her baby won't leave this cabin alive. By now, the storm outside has calmed, but inside the cabin, things are only getting louder. Tegan's painkillers are gone. Her ankle throbs with every breath, and the air downstairs feels heavy, like it's holding secrets. When Hank comes by with food, she asks a question she's been sitting on for days. Do you even know what your wife's doing? He doesn't answer, just lowers his eyes. That silence tells her everything. Something breaks in him, though. Later that night, when Polly's asleep, he sneaks down again. He brings antibiotics, water, and a look that could almost be guilt. She's not bad, he says quietly. Tegan almost laughs, because that's not love. That's theft with sentimentality. She learns more piece by piece. Polly couldn't have kids. Sadie, the little girl, isn't theirs at all. She's the daughter of a man named Mitch who works nearby. Polly keeps her around like a pet project. In the crash, maybe not an accident after all. The road that night wasn't as icy as she remembered, the way Hank found her too easily. The car now conveniently gone, buried under snow. The story doesn't add up. Tegan starts to write everything she remembers on the underside of her pillowcase, just in case. She also starts whispering to Sadie through the door when Polly's not listening. The kid's lonely, curious, and a terrible liar. But she slips Tegan a spoon once, a small victory that feels huge. Days blur. Polly grows restless. She keeps talking about how once the baby comes, everything will make sense. Each word chills Tegan more than the weather ever could. One night, Tegan hears them arguing upstairs, Hank's voice, sharp and tired. "She's not yours, Polly. You can't just take her." A crash, then silence. Polly appears the next morning with a bruise under her eye and a brightness that's almost manic. "Breakfast," she chirps. "We're almost there." Tegan knows what that means. That's when she makes her move. She fakes dizziness, waits until Polly steps closer, then smashes the metal tray against her arm and bolts for the stairs. Her body screams with pain, but adrenaline's louder. She makes it to the front door, locked. Windows, boarded. Then she spots the landline phone on the counter. She lunges for it, deadline. Behind her, Polly's footsteps hit the floor. "You're making this harder than it needs to be." Tegan grabs the nearest thing, a mug, and throws it. It shatters. Polly ducks, curses, and lunges. The two crash into the wall, chaos spilling through the room. For a moment, Hank appears in the doorway, torn between them. His face says it all. He's done pretending. "Run," he tells Tegan. And for the first time in days, she does. Tegan bursts out into the cold, limping through knee-deep snow, lungs on fire. The cabin shrinks behind her, its yellow windows glowing like eyes. She doesn't know where she's going, only that she can't stop. Not now. She stumbles toward the tree line, half hopping, half crawling. The night air burns her throat. Every sound feels amplified. The crunch of ice, the echo of her heartbeat, and somewhere behind her, Polly's voice, shrill and desperate. "Come back! You'll freeze out there!" Tegan doesn't look back. She'd rather freeze than go back. The forest is endless white and black. Branches clawing at her coat, shadows moving like they're alive. She keeps going until her body gives up before her will does. She collapses near a ditch, the snow swallowing her cry. Then headlights appear. For one terrifying second, she thinks it's Hank. But the voice that calls her name is different, steadier, a cop. They've been searching since her car was found. Tegan's found, half frozen, half conscious, whispering something about a baby and a woman who smiles too much. When she wakes up again, it's in a real hospital this time. Clean sheets, bright lights, people who actually answer questions. Her ankles bandaged. The baby's heartbeat is steady. The police want details, and she gives them everything. The crash, the cabin, Polly's obsession, Hank's silence. The whole twisted kindness act. By the time they reach the cabin, Polly and Hank are gone. The house is empty, dishes on the table, fire still burning, like they left in the middle of dinner. Days later, Hank turns himself in. He's quiet, remorseful, almost relieved. Polly, though, she doesn't come back. They find her car abandoned by the river. Tegan doesn't feel victory, just exhaustion. Winning doesn't feel like winning when you've survived people who thought they were saving you weeks past. The baby, her baby, arrives safely. She names him Noah. He's tiny, loud, perfect. Every time she looks at him, she remembers what almost happened. How easily her story could have ended in that basement Simon Lamar tries to reach her once. A lawyer sends a message about closure and amicable resolution. She doesn't even open it. She's done living in other people's stories. Instead, she takes everything that's happened, the crash, the lies, the fear, and writes. For the first time, her words aren't for anyone else's magazine, they're for her. Months later, she hears through the grapevine. Hank's in prison, Polly's presumed dead, and Sadie, the little girl, has been reunited with her father. Tegan sits by the window, snow falling outside again. She holds Noah close and thinks about how the storm took everything and gave her something else in return. Clarity. The crash wasn't the end of her life, it was the start of her own story.